Myanmar is often seen through headlines: conflict, instability, and uncertainty. But what does everyday life actually look like on the ground? In this travel documentary, I explore two of Myanmar's most fascinating places: the bustling streets of Yangon and the ancient temple plains of Bagan. Over several days, I'll explore the chaotic streets of Yangon, chase whisper flavors across the city, and travel north to Bagan, where food, faith, and history intertwine in a way I never expected. Along the way, I encountered Yangon's chaotic Chinatown food scene, secret curry counters and low-key cocktail bars, shared meals I couldn't even name, a traditional Bagan feast of more than 30 curries, over 2,000 temples rising from the plains of an ancient kingdom, and step inside temples that have stood for nearly 1,000 years. Pilgrims, prayers, and everyday life inside Myanmar's sacred places. From sizzling walks to silent temples, this journey revealed a country far more complex and far more alive than the news might suggest. This film combines my travel through Yangon and Bagan, capturing both the food and the faith that shaped life here. This is Myanmar, beyond the headlines. My journey begins in Yangon, a city where shrines, colonial ruins, and street food stalls exist side by side. I just arrived at Yangon earlier this afternoon, but it was so hot I didn't want to go out. Now it's about 5 p.m. and the sun is about to set. The temperature is not as hot, so I decided to go out. Yangon is a charming little city, although very chaotic. This is not my first time to Myanmar, but the impression is still that this country feels very raw. Myanmar as a country barely receives any tourists, and as a result, the infrastructure for tourists is also not there. There is no English anywhere, and let's just say the sanitation condition isn't the best in terms of the countries I visited. So you have to be a bit adventurous when it comes to exploring things like this. And anyways, so I'm at this street stand with this lady selling, I have no idea what the name is. I have a fried patty type of thing, and this is like a rice noodle. The English is so basic here that the lady couldn't even understand English, such as what's the name of this dish. So as a result, I couldn't tell you what that is. So this is basically like a rice noodle with a spoonful of some kind of gravy sauce on it. Rice noodle, thin vermicelli. It doesn't have much flavor other than the sauce that's on top. It's maybe a bit tamarind based, but not that sour, not that sweet. It has a bit of an earthy flavor. And also this fried patty thing. Tapioca. Oh, this is really good. Crispy outside, a little gooey mushy in the inside. Also very crunchy. Another thing to pair with this vermicelli rice thing is this pickled chili. My first bite in Yangon had been quite basic, as I hoped for more ingredients and flavors instead of the rather simple rice noodle, and it occupied my precious stomach spaces. Pickled green chili, not as spicy as the raw version. Fortunately, my following food adventure was going to get much better, but still has the pig. Next up, I come across this stand on the street that sells a wide variety of different items, almost like a Kalgan in Thailand, but Burmese version. The food is so colorful, there's so many different varieties. Of course, there's no menu, but they speak absolutely no English. They couldn't even understand things like, what is this? So I'm being completely adventurous and just point this and that. The only guy there that can speak some English is that he can say this is beef, that is chicken. That's the only two words. And water. And the tea as well, water or tea. The table is real tiny, not designed for having a camera, but since I'm traveling solo, this is gonna have to do. So basically I got 4 items that I ordered, and it comes with a free soup and a free herb platter and a rice. And in Myanmar, just like in Thailand, people eat with spoon and fork. And I try to get a combination. I don't exactly know what you order, and I don't know the name of those dishes. I really wish I could tell you more, but I couldn't. So you're with me on this one. I guess the first thing I'm gonna try this, like a vegetable mix. I'm kind of abiding to the Thai style Kalgan, something fresh, maybe to start with. Onion, cilantro, peanuts, refreshing, good. Very small appetizer.
And also here, just the sanitary condition isn't the best in terms of all the cities I visited. But I think this place has keep a certain clean standard that I could eat. You know, there are flies here and there on the street, but like that's just whatever. But at least all the tables, all the plates and stuff, they got it very clean. Indeed, eggplant, but mixed with some kind of chili, maybe some fish sauce or some shrimp paste or something. Savory, umami, funky, a little stinky type of flavor profile. But the primary flavor profile is still the eggplant. One thing good about this is that they all comes in very small portion, so I guess I could try a bunch if I'm not full. Herb platter of bean sprouts and the fish sauce in the middle. I have to say the vegetable doesn't look as fresh as the one I have in Thailand. Maybe it's been sitting there for a while, so it looks kind of expired. But well, I'm in Myanmar, so it's gonna have to do. The sauce definitely has shrimp paste in it. The signature flavor, a little bit chili. The eggplant with some of the dipping sauce. That's definitely served as the fresh side of things. But I'm still learning. The flavor profile here is completely new to me. I mean, the individual flavor element isn't, but the way they are presented together is something I've never had before. And by the way, I'm not an absolute beginner when it comes to Burmese food. I have been to Myanmar before, and I had some Burmese food in New York City. I know the signature ones like mohinga, ono khao soy, nan ji tok, tea leaf salad, stuff like that. I had those. But it's really that when you're actually in Myanmar yourself, then all the possibility of different food options opens for you. And of course, people are all looking at me when I order the food, because first, I'm the only foreigner here, and second, I have a camera. This is beef. That's the only thing I know. Maybe some kind of curry, a little bit Indian Bangladeshi influence. This one is very interesting, almost a bit Chinese Indian influence. So first, this is a thin curry. You do have a little bit like the masala flavor, but it's thin, right? It's almost like soup. And the beef itself has that almost like 5-spice flavor, very Chinese. You have a bit of the cumin, maybe a bit of star anise, but the gravy or the thin sauce is kind of Indian. This is very Burmese. The beef could use a bit more stew time as it's not as tender as a lot of beef I've come across. It's still got quite some chew, or maybe that's the way local people like it. That's 3 of the dishes. Last one is the pork. I mean, I think this one looks very Chinese. At least it triggers China to me. But let's see what the flavor is about. This is very Chinese. Pretty much hong shao rou, red braised pork, but not as sweet. Of course, Burmese food is a blend of Chinese, Indian, Thai influences, and of course with its own unique properties as well. In fact, Burmese food is one of my favorite food categories, and I call it Asians' best hidden culinary secret because there's just so much to it. Time for the free soup. This one just looks like mixed vegetables. I couldn't name these vegetables, but one of those is slightly sour. Probably not pickled, it's just the way it is. And also I smell a little bitterness, maybe from bitter melon, but I couldn't see any. But this one also somewhat triggered China to me. And there's also a bit acid to season. So maybe a little bit of Thai philosophy as well. Sort of like a Chinese Thai Burmese soup. Another herb. Holy basil? It tastes like holy basil, right? Definitely has the kick to it. Like the spicy, zesty zing. And also, I was just giving another plate of rice. So apparently you can get maybe unlimited refill. I could probably order more dishes to try, but I decided to move on for this day. Very novel experience. Burmese cow game. That meal cost 5,400 kyat, the local currency, which is around $2 US.
The next food I consumed was a pleasant surprise. It's rather similar to the Thai hoi tong, or its precursor, the Chinese oyster pancake, aka
I have
oatian.
no idea what that is.
I was pretty sure that they shared the same root, as I was about to find out.
I think this thing looks like hoi tao or oatian, but Burmese version. From the look of it, the preparation is also very similar. You have the batter. You have the batter possibly with egg and potato starch, just like a hoi tao or oatian. Then eggs, but in this case, I don't see oyster though. But there's some chive in it. Man, that looks so good. Some more oil. Chive. Some more of this, like I have no idea what that is. Okay, some oyster sauce. Man, that looks good. Chive or maybe Chinese leek. Oh yes. The aroma, the fragrance. And there we have it. This is for me on a plate. So the egg and crab mixture is mixed with the batter, water, and sweet potato starch, and possibly some more eggs. Oh, this is a different dish, huh? So I think he's deep frying all this batter mixture. Oh yes. Oh. I think I'm gonna get this as well. I have no idea what that is. Probably like crab omelet kinds. Deep frying that mixture in a giant flat pan. That looks and smells amazing. So I think this is a different version of oatian. He flips it. Oh, right there. Breaking it up. Now he's fluffed it up with a spatula. This thing looks kind of unhealthy though, soaked with oil. More oil, really? More oil. Man. Now we have the dish and answer revealed. This dish is called exactly oatian. Even in Burmese, the name is oatian. So clearly that's the Chinese dish, fried oyster pancake. In Thailand, it's called hoi tao. But this is a Burmese version. Okay. This starch, I'm not sure if that's sweet potato. It looks like it because the almost like translucent property. The sweet potato starch is soft and gooey. And I think for the Burmese version, it's a bit more on the batter side. The batter is thicker and heavier compared to the Thai version. This is more about the texture of it, but you don't get that super umami, briny flavor. In fact, there is no oyster in this dish at all. It is crab. Okay, so this is definitely a very Burmese version because the Chinese and the Thai version uses traditionally oyster, sometimes mussel, seafood, but this version, crab meat. Looks like this is almost ready. Fried, crispy version of oatian. Now I'm getting a little bit of this complimentary crispy fried oatian. Really crispy, what can I say? Fresh out of the wall. This version is interesting in two ways. First, it's crab meat, and second, it's really about the aroma from the egg. You just have that little bit like sweet, umami, even oily flavor from the deep fried egg. But at the same time, it doesn't feel that heavy. Crispy, I won't say light, but not heavy. he used a lot of oil, but because the temperature is high enough, so the oil kind of gets pushed out from the egg. Another piece. This is amazing. And also this is very unique. I don't see this in China. I don't know if they have it in China. This looks like a blend of two, right? In China you have the crispy version, then in China you have the traditional. And this is fried into small pieces. Very interesting, Burmese version of it. You still have a little bit of gooey texture from the starch batter in the center, but overall, the textural contrast and variation is really good. Some vegetable is indeed needed to cut through the heaviness of it.
As night falls, Yangon's Chinatown transforms into a bustling night market packed with energy, with sizzling woks, smoky grills, and colorful stalls lining the streets. The air is filled with the aroma of spices, frying oil, and heat waves, creating an overwhelming but exciting sensory experience. Right in front of the Chinese temple, vendors crowd the sidewalk, selling everything from clothing and everyday items to fresh fruits, foods, and snacks. There's a sense of organized chaos, hawkers calling out, the clatter of woks, kids playing by temple entrance, and the flickering of red lanterns hanging about. Walking further into the market, I find myself surrounded by street food stalls serving dishes that range from the familiar to truly unexpected. One of the most striking things I saw was a stall selling massive trays of fried insects and crabs, grasshoppers, crickets, and even huge fried coconut worms. I believe these are popular in Shan State, where they're eaten as crunchy, protein-rich snacks. Locals seem to enjoy them with a sprinkle of seasoning, but I wasn't quite ready to try it myself. At another stall, I saw something I couldn't even name. A giant, irregularly shaped breadstick. It's battered and fried and had a textured, bubbly surface. Right next to it was a plate of jars of what looked like egg custard, some topped with fried shallots. Another thing caught my attention were many of the similar stalls found across the area. It's like a mini hot pot on the street. Of course, I also came across multiple Burmese khao game, the rice and curry equivalent similar to the Thai version, but with local Burmese flavors. The entire experience was like a journey through culture and flavors. This place truly offers something for every kind of food adventurer.
The food scene here in Myanmar is absolutely crazy. There are so many things I have never seen before. It is fascinating, but I only have one stomach, so that's all for the day. Also, one thing I soon noticed is that Yangon isn't a very well-lit city. Due to the economic and political situation recently, the supply of electricity just seemed to be limited. And in fact, the hotel that I'm staying in has to switch gear a few times a day as well. Even the main street isn't particularly well lit, let alone smaller alleys. Plus, there just aren't that many people, so some places could look quite sketchy even in downtown. Local people told me Yangon is safe, but I think I'm still gonna stay out of sketchy looking places. Compared to my last visit 6 years ago, the city pretty much feels the same. Very raw, very chaotic, somewhat sketchy, and the food is amazing. This lady here by the street is frying up some donut looking like thing, and it looked quite good. I'm gonna give it a try still. Now I'm at a nearby mall because I really can't find seats on the street. I'm gonna try the food now. This is the like a fried batter with corn stuff inside. Never tried this one before. Crunchy, a little sweet from the corn. A bit oily, but it's fun. Small snack. Then this thing that looks like a fried donut. Outside slightly crispy, inside is soft and warm and fluffy. Is this made with lentils? This reminds me of the Indian vada. I'm not sure if that's the exact thing, but kind of tastes like that. There is also a bit natural sweetness to it, pretty much like the lentil vada I had before from Malaysia.
While exploring the streets of Yangon, I came across a stall selling what's called shui in a traditional Burmese dessert that's especially popular during the hot season. I've never seen this before, and I was quite curious watching it being made. The vendor carefully layered different ingredients into a bowl, starting with pandan flavored gel, sago pearls, coconut flesh, sticky rice, crushed ice, and pieces of white bread, before topping it with a generous amount of coconut milk, and lastly, some evaporated creamer. This peculiar combination was very interesting to me. The dessert is believed to have been influenced by Hmong and Chinese sweet soups, but over time, it has become uniquely Burmese. It's particularly popular during Tingye, the Burmese New Year water festival, when people enjoy it as a cooling treat. The taste? Sweet, mildly fragrant, and incredibly refreshing, especially with crushed ice. The bread soaked all the coconut flavor and enhanced the creamy taste. The combination of chewy, soft, and creamy textures from various ingredients made it a fun and satisfying dessert, perfect for Yangon's tropical heat. Yangon, the largest city in Myanmar, is a fascinating blend of history, diverse cultures, and stunning architecture. Once the capital, it remains the country's economic and cultural heart, where British colonial heritage, Buddhist traditions, and multi-ethnic influences came together in a unique urban landscape. Walking through Yangon's Chinatown, I also visited one of the Chinese temples, quietly among the bustling streets. Surrounded by hardware shops, these temples, built by Hokkien and Cantonese immigrants, were once lively centers of worship and community gatherings. However, the one I visited had almost no people there. The once vibrant red and golden inscriptions were fading, and incense sticks burned in near silence.
Apparently, I'm the only visitor here.
It was a stark contrast to the bustling Chinatown outside, where food stalls and market thrive. But inside the temple, time seemed to stand still.
I can't believe this. I see Fudan University here. The temple is so much less lively compared to the one I saw in Thailand and Malaysia. Look at this amazing stand. She's selling samosa. So the lady is cutting up all kinds of fritter samosas too. Look at this. This is a very different way of eating than anywhere else I've seen. So all the small parts has been chopped into pieces, some herbs. So we have this platter, and she is adding some salt, MSG, maybe cumin. This looks like maybe a tamarind chutney of kinds. And there's also chili powder you can choose to add. Very interesting. Now I'm having a plate of this samosa. Again, looks very different than anywhere else I've had. And the Burmese version is everything's chopped up into pieces, and some chili powders and some soup. And this thing is actually quite hot. It's quite salty. We pretty much have the samosa, carrots in there, and maybe some lentil, some mint, some chili flake. But I think the soup or whatever they have is a tad too salty for my preference. But I can see that if the salt is added properly, it's gonna be an interesting dish. This samosa doesn't have much of the masala flavor. It's pretty straightforward. Just samosa, potato, lentil, fried fritter, that type of thing. Also some chili here. 还好，不辣，一点点，有点辣，后味比较大。It's not immediately spicy, but after like a couple seconds, like that spicy, smoky sense just start to expand in your mouth. Yeah, that's actually spicy. A car basically just parked right in front of me, and this is what I'm seeing on the street, and I can smell petrol from here. Not the best dining environment. So here is samosa with petrol pairing. We have another samosa counter.
I then visited Bocho Onsen Market, also known by locals as Bochoze. It is one of Yangon's most iconic shopping destinations. Built in 1926 during British rule, it retains its colonial charm with a high arched ceilings. Inside, the market is a maze of small shops selling everything from jade, rubies, and gold jewelries to hand-woven textiles, lacquerware, and Burmese puppets. It's the perfect place to pick up traditional souvenirs and experience Myanmar's rich craftsmanship. The heat of Yangon during daytime can be unbearable, so another refreshment is needed. I came across another vendor selling soda mix of an array of striking colors. It is part of Myanmar's street beverage culture. These are bright, refreshing, and often customized based on personal preference. The blue soda with lemon I had was likely a mix of blue curacao syrup, lemon juice, and soda water, and tasted just like Gatorade, refreshing, citrusy, and slightly artificial. It is much needed to quench my thirst.
Here is yet another Indian temple. Man, Myanmar is so chaotic. It's not for the faint of heart.
I keep wandering around the city to visit Sule Pagoda, one of Yangon's most iconic landmarks. Located at the heart of the city, believed to be over 2,500 years old, the pagoda is said to enshrine a sacred hair relic of the Buddha. It stands 48 meters tall, with an octagonal-shaped stupa, a unique feature distinguishing it from the bell-shaped stupas found everywhere else in Myanmar. The golden stupa is surrounded by smaller shrines, Buddha statues, and not altars. Over the years, Sule Pagoda has played a significant role in Myanmar's political and social history. Today, it remains an important place for pilgrims and visitors. Surrounding the pagoda is a mix of colonial and modern buildings, including Yangon City Hall, the Independence Monument, and Mahabandula Park, symbolizing Yangon's blend of tradition and modernity.
Here we have some Burmese textbook. Oh, so it's teaching letters, huh? Here we have a storybook of kinds. Oh, like a little comic. I like this handwriting of Burmese script. This is the old banknote of Myanmar. This is a banknote of 500 jet from 1947. I think I'm gonna get this as a souvenir. And this is the latest. We have 500.
One of the most striking aspects of Yangon is its religious diversity. As I walk through the city, I encounter Chinese temples, Indian Hindu temples, mosques, a Jewish synagogue, and many others. Among the unexpected places I came across was the Armenian Church of St. John the Baptist, one of the oldest churches in Myanmar. Built in 1862, the church stands as a reminder of the once thriving Armenian merchant community, which played a key role in the gin and textile trade.
Ooh. Ooh. It is now feeding time, holy.
Though the Armenian population in Yangon has nearly vanished, the church remains. A quiet, well-preserved landmark tucked away near Merchant Street. Its simple yet elegant architecture feels almost frozen in time. The Sarkis brothers, famous for founding the Strand Hotel, were among the influential Armenians in Myanmar's history. Today, the church is rarely used for service, but it stands as an enduring piece of Yangon's multicultural past.
Yangon just never ceased to give me surprises.
Historically, Yangon grew from a small Hmong settlement into a major port city under British rule in the 19th century. The colonial-era downtown, with its grand but time-worn Victorian buildings, tells the story of that past, making Yangon one of the most architecturally rich cities in Southeast Asia.
And here we have another Indian mosque. This city is really the blend of so many different cultures, vibrant and extremely chaotic.
Now, it's time to eat a truly unique meal.
For dinner, I'm eating something very special. I'm at a restaurant that only locals will find. So this restaurant serves Kachin food. Kachin is an ethnic group from north of Myanmar called Kachin State, bordering China. And in fact, there are also Kachin people in China, but we call them Jimpo. So ethnic Jimpo and Kachin in Myanmar. And in fact, the Kachin people, they call themselves Jimpao. So, well, this is their food. I have never had any Kachin or Jimpo food before, and very excited to try some of these things. This is Burmese food advanced level, or I don't even know if I should call this Burmese food anymore because they're Kachin people and there's also Kachin people in China. So like, is this a Burmese food or Chinese food, right? This is just their own food. This is Kachin food. So I'm trying Kachin food tonight. First dish, Kachin rice with mutton curry. So this one looks like just a rice mixture with some chopped chilies, some greens, and some dry mutton pieces. This is basically rice with maybe a bit of fish sauce, some chili in there, and the mutton here is dry, almost like jerky. Some fried peanuts. Let me try a bit of the chili dip here. there might be tree tomato in there because it has that like slight acidity, almost like passion fruit vibe. In fact, tree tomato is an ingredient that's widely used in these areas like Yunnan province in north of Thailand and the Shan state of Myanmar, but it originates in Americas. It's not tomato, as tomato doesn't actually grow on tree, but it looks like one, so that's why people call it tree tomato. And it kind of tastes like a slightly tangy passion fruit, but at the same time has like this really refreshing note and also a bit of sweetness. And you have the spiciness just goes so well with it. Next time we have this hearty soup, taro soup with a bunch of vegetables, tomatoes. Okay. The soup is very fresh and herbal, a little sweet, almost like mint, but it's not mint. It's just like the other vegetables that have similar compounds. There's also lotus leaf. This is my first time having lotus root leaf. It's almost like sweet thyme. That's where the mint-like freshness fragrance comes from. Some taros, and we have tomato, okra, maybe some eggplants, also dry bamboo, different gourds, and of course taro. Next up, fried gourd leaves. This one, the flavor is pretty much to the other greens that you just usually have, but the texture is very interesting because the leaf has vines and stuff, so when you chew it, you can feel a little bit pattern on your tongue. Very good. Ginger, garlic, tomato. Next up, let's try some mashed potato Kachin style. As you can see, there are some chili and the herb mixture inside the potato. Cilantro, red chili, almost no oil, and the chili could be a little spicy. I feel like all their dishes are kind of like spicy herbal profile, including this one. Next one, we have this dish called sapie, a signature of Kachin food, and you can also have this in Vietnam as well. Not only Kachin people, also the Thai people, they also eat this. So this is like the mixture of chili, cilantro, garlic, chopped up some meat parts or something. There is this chua gan or yu jing cao in it. I don't know what's in English. I don't think you have it. We call it like fishy grass. It has like this potent, herbal, bitter, strange flavor. That's some people's favorite, but not everyone likes it. But it's in that thing. And also quite spicy, a little herbal, and also refreshing, green chili, a little lime. And the way to eat sapie is like this. You have a little bit of rice noodle, grabbing it like rice taco? Oh shit, I'm not good at this. something like this. I'm not the best when it comes to it, but here we have another one. Beef offal, cilantro, herbs, spicy chili, cucumber, rice noodle. It's a mixture of refreshing and spicy, and it's almost like a cold salad. Noodle beef salad, Kachin style. It's a little spicy. Okay. Grabbing some more rice noodle here as the base. Cucumber, tripe, spicy sapie here, tree tomato. Let me grab that. It's good. Spicy, refreshing, and also a very unique experience. I think this is actually very spicy. This might consider medium spice for them, but to me that's plenty spicy. And let me tell you that I could eat spicy, but this is, well.
The first 2 days in Yangon has been absolutely amazing, but little did I know that it will get even better. Starting my new days, first I am brought to this small place that serves amazing Indian food, and in this case Indo-Burmese food, because there are Indian people in Myanmar, and this is a very unassuming place, very far off the city center. If you do not have a local, that you will not know about this place, with all kinds of different selections down there, kind of like the Bagan in Thailand, but different curries. Of course, no menu, no English, and you select a bunch of dishes we want. Here we have some prawn,
This is fish head. And here we have a few dishes. We have a prawn, we have a chicken feet, and this one looks like papadam. Looks like papadam. I'm gonna have to try that. And soup, some condiments here. What is this? This is also a soup?
Yes, it's
Soup and soup. Both soup.
for sour.
Oh, okay. Time to try some of this first. Mutton. Mutton curry, rich and nicely spiced. A little heat. Okay, let's try some prawn. The prawn looks good too. Big pieces, tender. Here I have a bit of a soup in a tiny cup. It's a little sour. I think this is called gongula leaves. Like there's a type of leaves in Indian cuisine. It is? Oh, okay. I'm educated. It just has a slightly sour, tangy flavor. I'm surprised that I am able to recognize that ingredient. Different type of soup. We have some gourd. Some soup first. This one has a bit more body, almost a bit starchy. Maybe potato in there. And then some small condiments here. Is it okra? Yeah, that slimy texture has to be okra. Some chickpea, so also thickened, a little tomato. Interesting. This one. What is this? Also a vegetable, but the texture is very soft, almost a little slimy. Maybe some kind of gourd as well. This. What is this? This one tastes raw and fresh, almost like some kind of, cucumber. But it's been chopped up to this, I couldn't even recognize it. Cucumber and mint. Then here we have this flatbread. That is not a naan, not a paratha. I think this is called papadam. Thin and crispy and light. No seasoning. It's just the oil, fried flavor. But I think it's pretty good. Kaffir lime leaves, tomato, and prawn. All richly seasoned with all kinds of spice. You got the whole piece. You even got some tamarind here. Prawn head. That is a satisfying meal, and this is off to a great day. This place has no names and no sign, but it is great.
After the meal, I was taken to Kaba Aye Pagoda to visit the pond within the compound, where locals often come to feed the fish. In Myanmar, feeding fish is considered an act of merit-making, believed to bring good karma and positive energy. I also took part in this small but meaningful tradition, offering food to the fish as a simple act of kindness.
Yes.
Then, I got myself a longji at a local market before visiting one of the most important sites of the city.
I'm getting a longji here for visiting the temple. I just got my longji. Check this out. So this is my longji.
Botatang Pagoda is one of the most significant Buddhist sites in Yangon. The structure was originally built over 2,500 years ago, but was heavily damaged during World War II and later rebuilt. It stands near the Yangon River and is unique compared to other pagodas in the city because it has a hollow interior, allowing visitors to walk through its gold-covered corridors.
The space is very tranquil.
Unlike most Burmese stupas, which are solid, Botatang's inner chamber is richly adorned with gold leaf, mirror mosaics, and glass inlays, creating a dazzling effect. The pagoda is believed to enshrine a sacred hair relic of the Buddha, making it an important pilgrimage site. Inside the pagoda, the Buddha's relics and ancient artifacts are displayed in glass cases, giving it a feel of both a shrine and a museum. The stupa itself stands 40 meters tall and features a traditional gilded bell-shaped design, similar to the famous Sri Dagon Pagoda. The name Botatang means 1,000 military leaders in Burmese, referring the legend that 1,000 soldiers escorted the sacred relics when they were brought to Myanmar.
This place doesn't have any tourists. It's all local people here, except for me.
Beyond its spiritual significance, Botatang Pagoda offers a rich cultural experience. The pagoda compound includes a pond with turtles, which are considered auspicious in Burmese Buddhist beliefs. Surrounding the main stew pot, there are multiple shrines and smaller stupas dedicated to various Buddhist figures. The pagoda is also known for its festive atmosphere during major Buddhist celebrations, such as Tengyem and Tazongdang Festival. Whether for religious devotion, cultural appreciation, or simply the breathtaking beauty of its golden interior, Botatang Pagoda remains a must-visit landmark in Yangon.
This is the raw, unspoiled version of Myanmar. This is my last day in Myanmar, and for my last meal, I'm eating at the streetcar in Chinatown, 19th Street. This place is called 999 Sham Noodle. Everything is in Burmese. I don't really understand what that is, but I just pick a location that's close to my hotel. And this place serves Shan noodle, but I believe they also serve other items as shown here. And I was actually sitting on the table ordering this, and this looks like something I had before. I believe it's called tofu hue, like soft tofu. This tofu-like thing is made with a chickpea solution that thickens, and I had it before. I absolutely loved it. I couldn't have that in New York City, and I saw this, which is, pretty lucky. I consider this is one of the dishes I always wanted to have again. Some people like it, some people not so much because they think it's too sticky and slimy, but I had it once, I absolutely love it. Fuck. This is Chinatown for you. It's just so loud. And on top you have a little bit like chili oil, some meat sauce, and fried garlic and everything. And the base noodle I think is rice noodle. Okay, yes. Oh, you see that? It is a bit sticky, that's why some people don't like it, but I had it once, I absolutely loved it. Almost exactly like the way I remembered it. The rice noodle is bouncy, and the soft tofu mixture is so creamy. The first time I had it, I didn't know what that is. I thought it was sesame paste or peanut butter sauce or something like that. Very creamy, but it turns out this is the soft chickpea powder solution thickened and bubble and form into the soft tofu thing. Then you add all the seasoning, condiments, a little soy sauce, a little bit like a mild chili oil, a little fried garlic, and possibly some crushed peanuts. And that's why it gives me the sensation that it's some kind of like nati-based sauce. Amazing. I think this is one of the unique dishes that I really like. The flavor profile is a little similar to the classic Shan noodle profile as well, where you have the meat sauce, the gravy, a little bit tomato, which it doesn't have it here, but the classic one has like the meat sauce gravy, a little tomato, a little peanuts, fried garlic, and I believe in some cases fermented mustard green. This one doesn't have all that ingredients. It's just like the base for Shan noodle type of flavor profile. Good. There's some pickles on the side, and also given a soup. Very simple. I'm glad I got to have this again. Since I'm at a Shan noodle car, so of course I have to eat, you guessed it, Shan noodle. And this one looks somewhat different than the one I had in US, New York City. I mean, of course, made by Burmese people. This one, the biggest difference is that the use of fresh vegetables, like in this case, I believe water spinach. And you still have the gravy, the meat sauce, and fried garlic, peanuts, and rice noodle. And this time with a thin soup, some bean sprouts. Let's see what this version is about. Reminds me of the Shan noodle I had in New York City, but I feel like this one actually has a milder flavor. The sauce is not as strong. The rice noodle is good, chewy and bouncy, a little bit flavor from the meat sauce, a little tomato, and also that pickle mustard green flavor is coming through, although I do not see too much application of it, at least visually. Some scallion. I think the reason that the flavor is milder is because of the use of fresh vegetables like the water spinach and the bean sprout, and also with a thin soup base that kind of diluted the flavor. So that pretty much wraps up my Burmese trip this time. I know, I didn't even get a chance to go to Shwedagon Pagoda. Maybe next time.
In Yangon, food and drink doesn't shout, it whispers. Sometimes behind an unmarked door, sometimes under a tarp next to a shrine. I walked into places with no menu, sat beside counters of curries I couldn't name, and tasted dishes I'd never seen. Each one challenging what I thought I knew about Southeast Asian food. One spot is loved by locals, another being named by Asia's 50 best. But forget about the list for a second, because here, it's not about chasing the best. It's about stumbling into flavors that surprise you. This is a different kind of food tour, less polished, more instinctive, and full of moments you can't plan for.
Starting my day in Yangon with a meal at this street food setup, holes on the wall, small restaurants. The name I cannot pronounce, but there it is, and it serves all kinds of small curries, one of my favorites. I always like the way to eat all this type of small dishes. Since this is not my first time, not my second time, and not even my third time in Myanmar, I already know a little bit about some of the dishes. So here we have chicken curry, and this one looks like potato as well.
It's chicken and potato.
Yes, it is. Classic Burmese curry. And you got that curry powder flavor from this. They definitely use that as seasoning. The one that has more like turmeric, celery seeds, some fenugreek in it. Now let's get some prawn curry. As you can see, this place is such a hole on the wall. The table is not even straight. It is a little inclined, but it's all about the food. We have prawns here. We have some leaves, tomato, slightly sour fermented flavor from this leaf. I think this is gongura leaf. This is a different prawn curry than some of the versions I had before. So even for prawn curry, there are many different versions. Still pretty good. Aromatic, a little spicy. Slightly sour and umami. Some extra rice. Small bones. Prawn curry is always one of my favorite, no matter the version. Now we have some fish curry. This one is more of a thin curry, almost a little soupy with tomato. And this one, I think maybe, I don't know this vegetable. Let me try this. The inside tastes a little bit like sigua, like a Chinese gourd, so gourd. But outside is so fibrous, it's almost a little chewy. Well, the outside is almost like yuca, and the inside is like so gourd. I have no idea what that is. Well, it turns out the way I eat it is wrong. You don't eat it like that. You need to cut it open and eat the pulp only. That's why the outer shell is not for eating. Interesting. Just the inside pulp, which tastes like a gourd. And the outside, this shell is to be discarded. This thing is called tenderloin, and I have never had it before. And some of the inside even have this small little seed. The seeds is almost the size of bigger lentils. Now onto the fish. Many small bones in there. I can already see like that's one small bones. I mean, there's more than one. This one, the taste is a bit more basic, just like tomatoey. Some basic seasoning, garlic, ginger type of thing. They might have used a tad of turmeric for the color. The meat is actually very tender. The meat is good. And there's always this platter of all kinds of fresh fruits. Eggplant, cucumber, carrots, all that stuff. And this dipping sauce, I don't know if you call it dipping sauce, but this thing is spicy and fermented, like shrimp paste type of flavor. Okay, this version is actually not so much of the fermentation. You still have a bit, but it's more spicy. Actually, Burmese food is really spicy. When it comes to some of the varieties that use a lot of chili, for me, I'll stick with the prawn curry. First meal finished. Good. I'm visiting my first bar in Yangon ever, and this one is called the Blind Tiger. The cocktail scene in Myanmar in general has been pretty young, but Blind Tiger is pretty much at the forefront of all these things. And they have some pretty good cocktails, as I've heard, so I come to try them. As you can see, the power situation in Yangon is not too stable, so as the bartender was making the cocktail, the power gets cut off, so now we're on generator, so there's a little bit of noise coming from the background. But here, this one, we have honey bunny, bourbon, cocoa, egg white, point true, lime, and simple syrup. So this is like a chocolate in cocktail form with honey. It's good. It's a bit refreshing. You actually got the lime syrupy flavor coming through first, subtle juice from egg white, and then you have a little bit of this chocolate flavor coming through later. It's actually very well structured, because when we were talking about flavor in different layers, it's really about the size of the molecules. So when you have smaller molecules like the limes and the syrup, you taste the sweetness first. Then the chocolates tend to have a bigger molecule, so that's why you taste that flavor later on. So it's like well structured, well layered flavor, which I do like quite a bit. Moving on, the second cocktail, this is called Altar, a very signature cocktail here, and also very Burmese influenced, because the bartender is ethnic Hmong, and from his state they celebrate Altar Tenyan. Tenyan is basically a water festival, and this one has connection to that. And this one uses Bacardi, Oro, sweet rice, dry vermouth, lime, and candle scented water. So we have the base liquor here, this sweet rice. Sweet rice wine, I like that. So this is part of this. Wow, that is really good. You have the sweet rice, like the subtle sweetness, subtle sourness from the lime coming through, really refreshing. But you also have this vermouth, this little bitterness in it, ever so slightly, that kind of permeate your mouth. But it's not too much, and at the same time you have this like this overall sweet scent. Oh, I didn't know Yangon has good bars like this one. I mean, this is definitely one of the better ones I have. And I know because World's 50 Best Bars, they didn't really enter Myanmar. This should be on the list somewhere. All these two, at least I have so far, are really creative and well structured. We have quite a few base liquor here. This is something I asked to try because they have like a local Burmese spirit. Everything is in Burmese, and this is like a cross between soju and sake. It's exactly like that. And also this one is like, well, 14.5 alcohol, so it's a little high. Here we have another spirit from Kachin state, made with sticky rice. Ooh. This is almost like baijiu type of high alcohol. I'm talking about like maybe like 40%.
I think over the 40%.
Over 40%. With a few rounds of cocktail in my belly, I need something to counter a little bit, so I have a bar food. They have a good amount of bar food selection, traditional Burmese, and this one I have is Kachin style mushroom salad. So Kachin is north of Myanmar, right? Kachin people, and they're the same as the Jimpo people in Chinese in Yunnan. They share the same ancestry, basically the same ethnicities, but just different names. Smells a little herbal and earthy. I like it. The mushroom is really meaty, sweet, herbal, earthy, a little spicy with their special spice. One of the very unique bar food, and I like it. This is another bar food, pounded mutton with Kachin spice. Also a Kachin dish, so as you can see, all these like dried meat shrimp, almost jerky-like, is pounded mutton. It tastes like dry mutton jerky, but not too dry, but still chewy. And you have a almost soy sauce like umami flavor. A bit of spice, maybe like black peppercorn, star anise, that type of thing, but quite subtle when it comes in combination. This one is quite different from the other bar food. That one is more herbal, nutty. This one is a bit more savory, a little umami. In Chinese, we call this 下酒菜, so the dish to go with wine. And in this case, exactly what that is, right? We have the cocktail, and we have the bar food. A little salty, which is needed to counter all that alcohol. And here, next one, we have this Kaya Lady Gin Matka Spice lime, contru, simple syrup, and umbellifers. This one, like, immediately you smell the herbal notes to it. Sawtooth coriander, right? And with some spice here, then that's the matka spice. Well balanced. A hint of the spicy heat peppering through this cocktail. I never had any cocktail of Burmese influence before. I guess this is my first experience. It's quite good. I like this bar. So that's pretty much the experience in this bar. I like all the cocktails. And also, by the way, the cocktail here is a really good price, 12,000 Jap. So if you get it from the black market rate, you're looking at less than $4 per glass of cocktail. That's kind of insane. But hey, it's Myanmar.
For today's meal, I decided to eat at this restaurant called Shan Kitchen. It serves Shan food, so Burmese food of the Shan state. This restaurant is featured on World's 50 Best Essence of Asia, so it highlights some of the local restaurants with like unique cuisine and good quality food, and this is one of that. So today I'm trying Shan food, not my first time, and this one here we have is called sichak, yellow noodle with chicken. I always try to order something different every time I go, and this is one of the items I haven't tried before. So far it just looks like yellow noodle with some chicken in it, and the sauce goes with the noodle. Let's see what this thing is about. The noodle is soaked with some chicken flavor oil, so you get a little bit of chicken aroma from the noodle itself. The strength is nice. Chicken shreds here. Chicken is chicken, but I think this is really about the noodle. That just has some aroma from the chicken fat. I have the sauce. I think I'm gonna add a little bit to it. This sauce is to pair with this noodle. Looks like some kind of sweet sour, almost Thai style sauce. Look, exactly that. Sweet, sour, and spicy. Quite spicy, in fact. It's simple food, but it's good. Next one, this is something I have never had before. This is called fried cow boat. So basically pounded sticky rice with black sesame. A Shan food item. Never had it before. Gooey and fluffy, slightly crispy. So this is the mixture of glutinous rice and black sesame. It's a homogeneous texture, so as you can see the inside is also black, so pounded sticky rice, black sesame mixed in together and then fried. We have a dipping of sugar and more sesame. I feel like the dipping didn't add much flavor to it because that's pretty much the flavor of the sticky rice thing itself. The sugar just add a little bit of sweetness to it. Interesting. And I feel like this entire plate can be actually quite filling if you finish them all. Moving on, next dish, we have this thing's called shuet tameng. I had this once before. Basically, yellow rice with chicken and tomato sauce on top. It's like a rice pancake, a rice cake. Sticky rice with a little bit of turmeric, tomato paste, and chicken chili. This is probably spicy, so I'm gonna try a small bit. Well, it is spicy. I'm glad that I didn't try too much. Fried peanuts. Again, a simple dish, but unique. This thing kind of tastes like the jargon, like a fishy grass, but not very strong. Not sure if it's the same thing. This is a chicken rice dish in one. For this meal, I'm eating at a restaurant called On. It is a very popular restaurant among the locals. As you can see, there are many people. It's an open air setting. It is a little hot with no AC, but that's kind of like the case for most of the restaurants here in Myanmar. And I'm here for the food. Anyways, this restaurant looks interesting. Never dine in one of those settings, open air with a lot of people everywhere. They even have some shrines there. So I just have some food here, 2 items. This is mutton curry and the other one is fried chicken. So let's try the mutton curry first. Really good. All the curries in Myanmar are pretty good. I like those.
I feel like this one is very similar to the Bangladeshi style curry. You have the lamb flavor coming through, aromatic spice, some oil, but not chili oil, just oil with some red chili in it, and all the spices, masala. Some chopped chili as well. This very deep and rich masala flavor, cumin, peppercorn, clove. Some gravy. This goes perfectly with the rice. And we have some paste here, chili paste of different colors. I think they are very spicy. I'm just gonna try a tiny bit. Chili paste with, I don't know if it's like chickpea or some potato. The red one is more like a dry fish, savory umami, and the green one is more spicy. Then we have the soup. Okay. Classic soup everywhere. I think this is water spinach maybe, and the soup is always slightly sour. Now let's have the fried chicken. Everything is with spoon.
You tried it?
Yes, I tried these two. They're the same, right?
Which one is better?
They're different. This is more spicy. This is more savory and umami, because this thing I think has maybe fish or pork, like floss. The other one is potato. Fried chicken, to be honest, is a little dry. I prefer the curry better. But I feel like maybe that's just the style the local people do it. Maybe they didn't care too much about the doneness, because I had a few fried chicken before. They all tend to be a little bit over fried, a little dry, but some of the grilled chicken is really good. I mean, I haven't had enough, so I can't really say. But for this restaurant, at least I like their curry very much. And of course, we always have to plate of vegetables. Just grabbing by the hands. Is this like maybe green mango? Tastes like eggplant. Like raw eggplant in terms of texture, but it has the green apple taste in it. I guess it's green mango because I know there are a lot of like mango parts in Burmese cuisine, mango roots, leaves, things like that I had before. So I'm guessing eggplant. These are all just raw, fresh vegetables. And there's always more rice. I think Burmese food is also very much a rice culture. The lamb is definitely one of my favorites here. Not like I order a lot, but this does stand out throughout my trip.
After a few days in Yangon, chasing curries, wandering quiet streets, and discovering flavors that rarely make it on the menu, it was time to leave the city behind, so I headed north to Bagan. Bagan is a name that floats like a myth. An ancient kingdom of temples rising from the dust, where time feels paused and every brick holds a whisper of devotion. But I didn't come here just as a tourist. This journey was unexpected, a personal one. I was taken around by someone I just met, and her mom, both deeply devout Buddhists. I didn't speak the language. I had no internet. I simply followed, and what unfolded was something closer to a pilgrimage than a trip. In the next few days, I stayed in a resort by the river, shared a traditional Bagan feast of many dishes I couldn't even name, rode horses among ruins, and visited temple after temple, each one revealing something new. A pagoda built to enshrine a Buddha's relics, a temple haunted by an unfinished past, and another that gestures not just to the present, but to a Buddha who has yet to come. Some moments were silent, others surreal. And through it all, Tanaka on my face, gold leaves in my hand, I was simply there, present. This is Bagan, not just seen, but felt. And this is how the journey begins. I'm coming to halfway from Yangon to Bagan. This is 115 highway, and I am at a restaurant called Fufu Express. This is one of the very famous locations that serves all kinds of curry and food near the city of Naypyidaw, which is the capital of Myanmar, the new capital. And this place is very popular. A lot of people are eating here. You have a selection of all different kinds of curry that you can choose. I think there's over 30 kinds of different curries and dishes. And here I have some of those. I have a pork, I have fish, 2 different types of fish, potato, a soup, fried chicken, and there's a traditional platter, and there's a sauce. First, we have this vegetable platter called lapi.
This is a traditional thing that Myanmar people eat with a meal. I already had this once before when I was eating at the curry place. The first day I arrived, so Sam set up some different herbs. The variation could be a little different. This one has cucumbers, some cabbage leaves, and the sauce is the same. I think the shrimp paste, fish sauce type of flavor. It is exactly that fermented umami sai stinky flavor from that sauce. This, I think this is bamboo. Yeah, this is bamboo shoots. This is bitter. I don't know what that is. I had no idea what that is. I don't know if that is jargon, like fishy grass. It doesn't exactly taste like it, but it's bitter. I don't know what that is. First, I have some potato. Slightly spice, chili. Kind of tastes like a Chinese potato stew type of flavor. And here I have the pork belly. This is very Chinese. Tastes almost exactly like the Chinese dish Mei Tai Kou Rou, which is pork with a type of fermented vegetables, except this one doesn't have Mei Tai in it, but you still have that flavor. Next up we have this, a spicy fish, and we have some gravy here. Oh, this fish is really tender. The fish's got tiny bones in there, no problem, I'm Chinese. Meat is really tender. I think they use some fermented condiment in this one as well. Slightly funky flavor. Not really spicy, although it looks red. I'll describe this as savory, umami, slightly funky flavor. The flavor here is very gentle. It's still got a small amount of heat to it. Here is another fish. The interesting part is this leaves here. It is called yue yuan in Burmese, and it's a leaf from a tree, and it tastes like slightly sour and nutty. Then you have the fish to go with it, so it's savory and this unique nutty sour flavor. Well, I like it. And here we have the soup, just some gourd and the glass noodle pieces. This one pretty simple. A little garlic, white pepper. This one also feels kind of Chinese, except the addition of the white pepper is a bit more heavier than the Chinese counterpart. Lastly, we have a traditional Burmese fried chicken called leban bia. This is a hand operation. Grilled chicken. Pretty good, but nothing too much to say about the grilled chicken itself, as you can pretty much imagine the flavor from the grilled chicken. Juicy, flavorful, a bit umami, savory, fatty from the skin. This is a good meal, and I am full. Let's get going. Fifth ski here coming to from Bagan Old Town. The trip was so long and there were so many things going on. I didn't arrive and check into the hotel until 6 a.m. Yeah, that is crazy. I got a little bit of sleep. Now it is 11 a.m. and I'm heading out to see Bagan.
I stay at Bagan Tondit, a riverside hotel with a tranquil garden and serene greenery. It has a wooden house built in 1922 for the Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward VIII. Onward, we head out and started exploring this ancient city and its countless pagodas. But first thing, we are getting some food, a special Bagan feast.
This place is right by the temple. Look at how amazing it is. First thing in Bagan, we're having some meal today. We're at a restaurant that's right by a few pagodas. This is a popular restaurant favored by the locals, and they serve a special regional type of dish only in Bagan. This is called pottery rice. And they have many different dishes to choose from in those big pottery vessels, and we can order small dishes by the portion, and the price is fair. But look at what we got here. This is absolutely crazy. This is one of the craziest spread I have ever seen on a table for one meal. I think this is like a wedding situation, but well, let's dig into it. I mean, all these things are quite new. Here is sort of like in the middle of Myanmar, so the food is a little different from what you have in Yangon, but I'm pretty new to both of those, so I pretty much cannot recognize most of them. I have to try them one by one, but they do look like very Burmese stuff. We have influences from China, like these dishes looks like Chinese influences, some of the Indian influences, curry, and you have Burmese influences, I mean like Burmese own thing. First thing, I have this drink called Meiji Jiao Zhou. I have no idea what this drink is. I'm gonna give it a try right now in this small vessel with chilled ice. This is like a somewhat herbal lemonade drink and also a bit sweet. And we have flies everywhere. Hard to say what's exactly in it though. We definitely have some acid, we have lemon and maybe tamarind. Yes. Cold and refreshing, slightly sweet and sour. Now it's time to try the crazy spread of things. There are so many varieties I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'm gonna start with this one. This one looks like a twist on the Chinese Chongqing lazi, like a Chongqing chicken fry, but also a little different because I think there are some, chili. Oh yeah, there isn't as much chili. Like the Chongqing version, you have so many of the red chilies. This one doesn't. This is looks like a crispy fried, maybe chicken and some fried onions and stuff. Smells also a bit spicy and smoky. Oh shit, that is good. You hear that, right? Very, very crispy. Maybe that's not meat. Maybe like, I don't know, dough pieces? I think so. This is called dadu in Myanmar, and it is indeed fried mantou pieces, but the flavor pretty much tastes like the Chongqing chicken version. Not as smoky, but you still have some heat to it. But I didn't expect the dish to transfer the flavor completely into these bread pieces, and also very crispy. So it's like a mantou version of the Chongqing chicken. Let's try some other things. This vegetable looks like morning glory, maybe. I think that's kind of what it is. And this one uses a bit acid, tamarind, lemon, some chili. This one has a bit of like the Thai influences in terms that it's seasoned with acid. And this thing looks like mutton greenish curry. No idea what that is. This is mutton in some kind of herbal green curry thing, but the flavor I have to try it again. I think this is like the herbal version of the mutton curry, of the red mutton curry counterparts. A bit bitterness as well. I have to try a little bit of the gravy with the oil and all. I can't quite say. There's some mild spices in there. Definitely a blend of spices, a little bit herb, a little bit like tiny bitterness. Interesting flavor. And also there's so many dishes, like my taste bud will get confused after like just a couple of them because everything's so new. I have to reset my palate a little bit. Maybe I should drink some of the soup here. This is the soup. Similar to all the other, I don't know how to call this place that you have many dishes, right? Like in Thailand, you call this khao gan. So all of these dishes come with some type of soup, like the one we had yesterday and also the one I had before. And this is just a vegetable soup with, again, a bit of that acid. Maybe tamarind or lemon. We have different things here. Cabbage, gourd, bamboo shoots, and a pickled chili as well.
This fried chicken is a little hot. You can try its fried.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. And here we have some fried chicken legs, thighs together. This tastes similar to the grilled chicken I had yesterday. Pretty good. This one is more of a natural flavor for itself. Not a whole lot of other spice or seasoning. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. Looks like kind of fishbowl in a tomato-ish gravy sauce and chili. A little bit ginger, garlic, some chili, tomato, and some salt. This plate of green vegetables, fried sweet potato leaves. I like this one. Really crunchy, and this one tastes very, very much like a Chinese dish, but I don't know what's the name. Maybe it's the same thing. I can almost say like I 200% have this dish before in China, but just in a little bit different representation. There isn't a bean sprout in it, just this vegetable. Tastes exactly the same, even the seasoning a little bit garlic. So this one's, I guess, Chinese influence. Fish. Maybe these two are a little similar. Well, actually not exactly, but I think they use the same base, ginger, garlic, a little chili. This one doesn't have tomato. It has more like this green chili thing, but not raw chili, roasted somewhat. The fly just kissed my lips, Jesus. fish bone in, always. And I have this plate. It's also called lap pi, right? So like the classic plate with all the vegetables, and this one has a different, I don't know what that is. I was told this is the leaves from the trees out there. Looks like, I think I have saw this in some like Thai cuisine before, but the color is much greener. I don't know if this is Siamese leaf, sadai. I think that's sadai, Siamese leaf, a little bit herbal and bitter. And this one also has a dipping sauce, but this one, instead of the green one, this is a little bit orange-ish. Let me try some of these vegetables with a dip. The color is different, but the taste pretty much is the same, but more spicy. Much more spicy. I'm not sure if there's fish sauce, but more shrimp paste. It's really like this funky, umami, little stinky flavor, but this one with a lot of chili. So apparently this leaf is this exactly, but this one has some flower buds. I think that's where the bitterness comes from. And this is basically that tree right there. And apparently I think I could eat this. Eating trees. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is so bitter. The first one is much more bitter than this. I've come good with that. This is so bitter. That one is so bitter. With a little bit sweetened to balance. Okay, let's try some more. Looks like beef offals and things. This is in a thin curry, not heavily seasoned. There are so many dishes. I don't think I can go over every single one of them, but I'm gonna pick some highlights. This one, mutton, rich in flavor, seasoned with spice, aromatic. Almost tastes like a mihari, but not as intense as the Indian version. This one is a bit more tuned down, like a thin oil curry gravy. And here we have pork. This one also had before. Tastes like the Chinese Hong Shao Rou, red braised pork. Similar, but maybe not as sweet and also not as tender. This one has a dark gravy, maybe pork and some eggplant. I'm not sure. Oh, indeed, pork. This one is fried, almost a little crispy. This is egg curry. This one I know, seen many recipes online before. No, I have eaten so many dishes, I don't even know which is which when it comes to the curry. They're all seasoned with various proportions of similar groups of spices, aromatic and savory. I'll try to get a taste of each dish. Eggplant puree, simply seasoned. This one looks like chickpea or lentil with some chicken shred. I don't know. Other things are pretty new to me. I couldn't even name like almost all the dishes. Not chickpea, beans, yellow peas. Yellow peas with a little bit of almost like pickled carrots. Yellow peas is widely used throughout Burmese and Chinese cuisine. A little nutty, thick, has a bit of a pickle, carrots, radishes. This crispy cracker, that I'm not sure what that is. Looks like puffed rice. Basically a puffed rice cracker. Slightly nutty. I'm full. And then this suspicious paste-looking thing. I'm gonna try a small bite. Shrimp paste, concentrate, and also a little bitter. I think this is like a condiment, not to be eaten by itself. Now here I have a little bit of this yellow curry-ish thing. Looks like paste only, maybe some cooked down vegetable. This one's sour, like pickled vegetable flavor with a hint of, actually more than a hint of spice, more than a little bit of a heat, and some like curry seasoning of it. That is interesting. Yeah, that's like a typical yellow curry and pickled cabbage had a baby together, and you dust chili powders on top. That type of feel. This spread of blackish thing, I was told this might be like burnt onion or something. I mean, like this meal, I'm so not sure. Usually I am pretty decisive, so this is this and that, but as you can see throughout the meal, I was like, this, maybe, that, maybe, because I'm really not sure about this. If you could tell me. This is, it has a little bit onion inside. And this thing is like red beans or pinto beans puree. And this reminds me of some Central American dish, Mexican dish, refried beans. That type of base, but with a completely different seasoning profile. We have a little bit onion and a little bit like acid again, and some spice. Interesting. What can I say? Interesting. Not bad. Looks like either a potato or a chickpea tofu. I think that is chickpea tofu. Tastes like tofu but firmer. Has almost like a cake-like consistency and has a bit more nuttiness. Seasoned with a little bit chili, spice, oil. Chickpea tofu, very interesting. And this yellow paste of beans. Okay, this is corn. This is almost like, guess what ingredient is in this dish? Seasoning is a bit simple. You just really have a lot of sweetness around it. Dry fish. Oh, that is really good too. Very crispy. Like the entire body is fried too crispy. You can just have this whole thing. I think I have maybe last few items here. Another one, maybe looks like a potato mashed potato thing. Pretty much it, mashed potato. Maybe with some mixture in it, but I couldn't tell. My tongue is so tired. My taste buds is so tired. Chicken, I think this is chicken. That is chicken leg, seasoned with similar curry. Not so good, but with all these things, it's pretty overwhelming. Okay, lastly, this is something I know. Lapit, tork, tea leaf salad. I had this before. This one looks slightly different. Has a bit more like tomato, green chili, peanuts. Tastes just like that too. You have that special flavor from the tea, a bit nuttiness from all that peanuts and all, a bit spiciness from chili, a bit refreshing notes from the tomatoes and all. This is one of the signature dish in Myanmar. Lastly, there's one that looks like string beans. Pretty much that too. I feel like all this dish has been of like Chinese and Indian blend in it. And technique ingredients, kind of Chinese / Burmese, but the curry base is a bit Indian. I think I pretty much covered everything on this side of the table. It's a marathon. I'm so full. There is buttermilk on there, but I decided to not try it because I had it before already. Okay, lastly, I decided to try one more dish. This is the only thing that I haven't seen before, but looks like pretty much a tomato base with some chopped green chili. And even this thing has shrimp paste in it. Tomato base and a little bit like stinky, funky, and quite spicy from green chili. That's not something I expected. That is spicy. Well, at least I tried it. Seriously, there's so much food, I could barely finish them.
After getting well fed, we went on a journey, or rather, a pilgrimage of offering prayers through different pagodas. Located in central Myanmar, Bagan was once the heart of a mighty empire. Today, it's one of the most breathtaking archaeological sites in the world. Between the 9th and 13th centuries, over 10,000 Buddhist temples, pagodas, and monasteries were built here. Though time, earthquakes, and invasions have taken their toll, more than 2,000 structures still stand, scattered across the Golden Plain, each one telling a story of devotion, ambition, and artistry.
Inside this pagoda, we have a Buddha statue.
This Bagan trip for me was quite unique, because I wasn't just some tourist trying to figure out things on my own. I was taken by my ex, who I met on this trip a few days earlier, and her mom, who were both devoted Buddhists. I know, that's a lot of information to unpack here, but let's just pretend it's all normal. I was stuck in a situation where I spoke no Burmese and had no internet service, so I just followed whenever they took me, and it turned out to be a great journey.
Now I'm getting a sugarcane juice. Oh, very sweet.
The first pagoda we visited was Lauganada Pagoda. Perched gracefully on the banks of Ayeyarwady River, Lauganada Pagoda was constructed in the 11th century by King Annavrata, the founder of the Bagan Empire.
Now I'm going around the pagoda for good wishes. It's so hot here, especially you walk barefoot. You have to take off your shoes and socks while in these religious...
It enshrines a replica of the Buddha's tooth relic, a sacred artifact brought from Sri Lanka. The pagoda is not only a spiritual beacon, but also a symbol of the deep-rooted Buddhist tradition in Myanmar. Every July, the Lauganada Pagoda Festival is celebrated, featuring local food and handicrafts, though it's less frequented by tourists due to the rainy season. Then, I was taken to Dharmani Pagoda. It's very much off the map, and the information about it is scarce. It lies along a quiet dirt path, away from the more frequented tourist sites. We offer prayers.
Amazing. Check camera.
Yeah. She was like, human, you're bothering me sleeping. Next one, this is called Damayazika Pagoda.
Rising from the eastern plains of Bagan, the Damayazika Pagoda stands apart, not just for its golden crown, but for its unusual design. Built in 1196 by King Narapati Situ, the pagoda features a rarer pentagonal structure, diverging from the typical square-based stupas of the era. The shape symbolizes the presence of not 4, but 5 Buddhas. According to Buddhist cosmology, our current world age, the Bhaddakappa, is blessed by 5 Buddhas: Kasosanda, Konagamana, Kassapa, Gautama, and Metteyya, the Buddha yet to come. Most temples depict only the past and present Buddhas, but this one gestures toward the future. Each of the 5 entrances honors one of these enlightened beings, offering a rare spiritual journey across past, present, and future. Inside, worshippers quietly place pieces of gold leaf on the Buddha's images, as we've done so. Over the centuries, these simple gestures have gilded even the humblest of surfaces. The plinth of the pagoda is layered with multiple terraces, adorned with glazed flags illustrating the Jakarta tale, stories from Buddha's previous lives. Damayazika isn't just a monument. It's a quiet fusion of cosmology, kingship, and timeless faith.
This pagoda has been around for 1,000 years, so very ancient. We made some more offerings of golden foil onto the Buddha statue and prayed. The tree here on the right is called Tanam. It's a sacred tree here. And on the left, this is called Maji. The leaves is used in the drink that we had earlier today.
After Damayazika, we set out to visit more temples.
For this one, I don't have to take off shoes. The sand is blazing hot. I could cook an egg. This is Damayangji Temple.
Throughout Myanmar, you might notice many people have yellow patches applied on their faces. This is called Tanaka, a paste made from ground bark, primarily used as a cosmetic and sunscreen in Myanmar. It's a distinctive feature of Burmese culture. Upon entrance of the temple, there are vendors providing Tanaka service by putting it on your face with a design pattern, and I gave it a try.
So on both face, right? I'm getting applied Tanaka on my face, so I'm becoming a local. Down? Oh, it's leaves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Leaves.
Yes, I like it. There's a design element to it.
We put that no leaf design also that.
Yes.
The leaves for the only Bagan design.
Oh, I like that. Look at the lighting on my face. I'm a Bagan local now.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, I'm getting my arm draw with all this like patterns, almost like a temporary tattoo. They have this in India too, but this is Burmese style.
Among Bagan's many temples, Damayangji looms with a different kind of grandeur. Its massive, fortress-like silhouette speaks not just of devotion, but of power, obsession, and penance. Commissioned by King Naratu in the 12th century, Damayangji is the largest temple in Bagan. Legend says Naratu constructed it to cleanse himself of the sins of murder, including the killing of his own father and brother to seize the throne. Inside, Buddha statues in various states of preservation scatter across the chambers. Some stuccoed with care, others gilded with devotion, and a few left severely weathered. Yet their beauty endures, softened, not diminished by time.
Here we have the original painting from the 12th century.
Architecturally, Damayanji is renowned for its precision brickwork, so exact that legend says a single gap wide enough to slip a pin through will cost the builder their life. Whether myth or not, the craftsmanship is undeniable. But despite its scale, the temple was never fully completed. After King Nanatu's assassination, work halted, and part of the temple were bricked up, concealing inner corridors and even relic chambers from view. Damayanji is more than stone. It's a haunting convergence of ambition, devotion, and unresolved history. Unfinished, yet unforgettable. Then, we tried horse riding through the ruins of Bagan. It was extremely fun.
There are so many of these horse carts.
The temple visiting ensued.
The sunset is beautiful.
We entered Ananda Temple near sunset soon before they closed. Hence, I didn't get a good tour around its exterior, just a glimpse of gold above the trees. But as I stepped through the gates and saw the guardian figures watching over the passage, the atmosphere shifted. This was no ordinary temple. There was a sense of symmetry and skill. Built in early 12th century during the reign of King Jiangzita, Ananda Temple blends Hmong and Indian influences, often called the finest, most enduring example of Bagan's temple architecture. Inside, 4 standing Buddhas face the cardinal directions, radiating a deep, tranquil wisdom. We place gold leaf on the small Buddha in front of Gautama, as many pilgrims have done so for centuries.
So this is the offering. Take it off on the back.
A gesture of devotion, renewal, and reflection.
There is golden foil. I'll put it onto the Buddha statue.
Even without the full view of its majestic facade, Ananda makes its presence known. It remains one of the Bagan's most beloved temples. By the time we reached Shrezamdal, the sun had already dipped below the horizon. The main pagoda, tall and majestic, its tiers fading gently into the twilight. We paused at a smaller shrine nearby, quietly offering flowers, a modest gesture, but one that carries the same reverence as any grand ritual.
We did a lot of good deeds today.
Built in the 11th century by King Anabrata, Shrezamdal once held a relic of the Buddhas here. For centuries, it has drawn pilgrims and travelers alike. The Bagan journey continues. Last time in Bagan, I found myself temple hopping through ancient ruins, led by my ex and her mom. We offer gold leaf at sacred sites, stood in the shadow of 1,000-year-old stupas, and got a spiritual crash course in Burmese Buddhism, all while I nodded along in silence, with no internet and no clue what was going on. And in between all the enlightenment, food, a lot of food. A 30-plus dish Bagan feast to be exact. But here's the thing. Turns out that wasn't even dinner. In the second half of the Bagan journey, I'm digging into even more local food. A traditional meal by the temple, a mysterious lacquerware rice tray that served like an ancient royal offering, and a farewell feast that ends with a tower of fried chicken, dishes I've never seen, and plants I didn't even know were edible. Between bites, I visited a pagoda that collapsed into the river, a reconstructed golden palace, a temple filled with hundreds of hand-painted Buddhas, and a pagoda that people say is powerful. This is the end of the Bagan trip, but it's just as rich, revealing, and flavorful as the beginning. Let's dive into part 2, starting with a bowl of mohinga.
For dinner, I am trying mohinga. This is my first time having mohinga in Myanmar and also my first time having mohinga ever. mohinga is considered the national dish of Myanmar, and it looks to me like this is a rice noodle in a thick soup with a bunch of ingredients, and we have an egg, gourd pieces. All right, I'm gonna have to try it. And also in Myanmar, you eat noodle, rice noodle or wheat noodle with a spoon only, which I think it's a little strange by the first sight. In other countries like Thailand, you eat noodle with spoon and a fork, and in China you eat it with chopsticks, which I think is the best way to eat noodles. But here, it is spoon only. I have tried to eat noodle with a spoon only before, like khao soi. I have to say it's very difficult, at least for me, to eat noodle with a spoon only, but today I'm gonna try it. Well, it will take me a few more bites to process the flavor. But I think it's good. This is basically a thick broth that is umami, a little savory, and you have many different components in it. A little bit crunchy from it. I don't know if that's a pork skin or something. Rice noodle have completely soaked up all the flavor. And egg. Fish soup base that is slightly thickened with all kinds of added ingredients. Maybe some fried pork crackling, some gourds. I don't know if that's potato or chickpeas or yellow peas that has thickened the soup with a bit of body. Now I'm gonna put in some addition with a squeeze of lime, some cilantro, a small amount of chili flake for the heat. That chili flake is spicy, although I did not add a lot. It is quite spicy. A bit of that saffron lime lift the dish. Well, now I have mohinga. It's pretty good.
After finishing our mohinga, we took a stroll around Bupaya, just a short walk from where we eaten. Perched on the edge of Ayeyarwady River, Bupaya is believed to be one of the Bagan's oldest religious monuments, possibly dating back to the 3rd century under King Busauti. Its name, Gourd Pagoda, reflects the shape of its bulbous body. But what we see today is an ancient stone. It's a modern reconstruction. The original pagoda was reduced to rubble by the devastating earthquake in 1975. Its dome shattered and collapsed into the river. In its place rose a reinforced concrete structure, not an exact replica, but a gilded reinterpretation. Bupaya today is a riverside sanctuary, a place where locals gather, offer quiet prayers, or simply sit with the wing of the water, just as we did. I thought the mohinga was my dinner, considering I already had a huge meal of over 30 dishes for lunch, but it turned out that was just my pre-dinner. For my actual dinner, we went to a place called Treasure Restaurant, a very popular spot among the locals and tourists alike. It offers a variety of cuisines, and we were of course here for the Myanmar dishes. I was here for the special dishes only to be found in Bagan. I don't know what the official name is, but I call it the Bagan rice tray. It came in a black lacquerware of traditional Burmese style called sum ok, a kind of offering vessel. Inside the vessel, there were different compartments holding different food items, such as rice, pork curry, different veggies, and pastes. It looks delicious, and it's time to dig in.
Okay, so let's try the food. We have all these items here. Let me start with something light, eggplant. So this is a Bagan style, only in Bagan, so like Burmese, Baganese food. Well, this is just eggplant. Just like the eggplant dish we eat for lunch, pretty much tastes the same. Not a whole lot of seasoning, just the flavor for itself. Chinese cabbage. Pretty much just stir-fried Chinese cabbage, but with a little bit of sugar, because I taste a hint of sweetness. Then here we have the peas. This is not yellow peas because it's a lot smaller. I don't know if that's lentil, yellow lentil or something. I think this is in some Indian cuisine as well. I don't know if this split peas doesn't look exactly like that, but similar. I'm pretty sure this is using some kind of Bengali cuisine, but here is just like simple pea flavor. Okay, this is what? Fried onions and chili flakes. Similar to the dish I had at lunch, this little fried mantou bun bread thing. But this is without the bread, just this. Spicy, savory, fried onion flavor. This cracker, this I don't know. I think this is red bean mashed into patties and fried. I think that's the red bean paste into cracker. A little bit shrimp paste, a little bit salt. So it's a bit salty. And you have that fermented funky flavor from it. But this one is it's not crispy. It's a little brittle. Lastly, pork curry. This is good. Pretty much the same as the dish I had for lunch. Slightly seasoned with spice, a little bit oil, some chili, but not a lot of heat. I think this is a cross between Indian and Chinese. A little bit like a super mild nihari and a cross with some like Chinese pork stew, maybe red braised. Okay, very special experience. And here I brought soup, chicken soup. Oh, this one's a little spicy. You don't see chili, a whole lot of chili in it. In fact, I don't think you see any chili in it. But it's definitely spicy. It's like the bird's eye chili type of spiciness in there. Some tomato, some chicken, some lime for the acidity, and a little bit of a cilantro. This is a spicy sauce, spicy condiment. I mean, this one looks pretty spicy. I think this is similar to maybe some Chinese chili dip. Yeah, pretty much like that. A little smoky and also a little bit, I don't know if that's like pickle, but more smoky. It's somewhat spicy. Lastly, I have this is called pennywort salad. I think I had things like this before, but I just couldn't remember. But the name sounds familiar, yet unfamiliar at the same time. Check this out. There's raw onion, there's tomato, so it's refreshing. The pennyworts I definitely had somewhere before. I just couldn't remember. The flavor is sort of herbal, grassy, leafy type of flavor. I also have this tea leaf mixture to try. There's definitely chili in it, a little bit spicy, and there's also a bit of like fermented flavor. And in fact, this reminds me of doubanjiang, the classic Sichuan fermented broth sauce with chili. It tastes somewhat like that, but not quite the same. The doubanjiang is red, but this is green because of the mixture of the tea leaves, which you can taste. And you also taste a little bit of the fermented chili flavor, but without the broth sauce. Quite interesting. And that is pretty much this meal. I'm so full. I have to call it a day.
Next day. This was our last day in Bagan. But we still had a morning to explore more wonders of this ancient city. We continued the journey of visiting more pagodas and offering prayers. Alo Dalpi Pagoda rarely makes it to the guidebooks, and when we visited, its entrance were covered in scaffolding, with no signs to hint the treasures within. Inside, the walls and central pillars come to life with intricate murals, rows upon rows of seated Buddha images, repeating like secret mantras in painted form. Glass panels now protect these relics of faith. Soft lights filter through cross-shaped perforations, gently illuminating the painted sanctuary. Along the walls, small shrine alcoves hold Buddha images. Worshippers bow quietly, whispering scriptures, offering flowers and prayers. Alo Dalpi might not command the skyline, but it holds something unique. Stillness, intimacy, and the quiet continuity of devotion. A lesser-known gem in Bagan's vast constellation of secret spaces. Then, we visited Bagan Golden Palace. I requested to visit it because of its size, but soon realized it's not a ruin of any kind, but rather of a reconstruction. I'm usually not a fan of this type, but it did offer a glimpse into the grandeur of Bagan's royal past. We then visited the Domino Temple. Constructed in the early 13th century under King Nan Daomia, it marks the spot where he was chosen to succeed the throne. Architecturally, it blends elegance with strength, from the ornamental doorways along its flanks to the soaring tiers that crown its central spire. Even the smallest carving on its outer walls hold quite a charm. Inside, the temple holds 4 grand Buddha images facing the cardinal directions, all fully gilded. The Lomino is less visited than Ananda or Dhammayangji, but it holds its own with subtle beauty.
This is Shrezigon Pagoda, coming to you with a traditional dress.
We came to Shrezigon because my ex-mother told us this pagoda is powerful. It was under restoration. Its true bell-shaped stupa hidden beneath scaffolding and protective mesh. Initiated by King Anabrata in 1059 and completed by its son King Jangsita in 1102. It enshrines relics of the Buddha, including a tooth and a bone. A covered corridor winds through the compound, connecting shrines and structures. Above each section, scripts are inscribed, usually dedications by donors or sponsors. Apart from the central stupa, the grounds are dotted with smaller temples in which curious figures draped in gold leaf. These aren't Buddhas, they're Nats, guardian spirits of Burmese belief. Locals offers not just reverence, but coins, bills, flowers, and prayers. That was the last pagoda, and we were saying goodbye to Bagan. Before leaving for Yangon, we stopped at a roadside restaurant to have one last epic meal on this journey.
Now we are leaving Bagan, and for lunch I'm eating at this place I cannot name. It is nearby Bagan on a road to Yangon, and I couldn't read Burmese, so I don't know the name, but this place serves a special type of chicken called lap. What is that called? Lapapiem. Lapambia, right, okay. And this restaurant serves a special type of chicken called lapambia, which is this grilled chicken which looks absolutely beautiful, and all the ladies are presenting it in a big plate on their shoulders, even on their heads. Beautiful display, and they also have a series of curries, and we ordered some food just to try some of those. I have been eating Burmese food for a while, so I kind of have an idea of what is what. So I'm gonna start with some of these dishes. As you can see, absolutely beautiful display here. Okay, so first one, this one is, I think that's the pork curry. I had a few times. I really like this style of eating because you can choose like multiple dishes in smaller portions to sample more different varieties. I don't know if there is a name for this style of eating. In Thailand, this is called khao gan, so you have many different dishes. But here I have consulted with a few locals. They have yet to come up with a name for this, so maybe that's just the way you eat. So first, pork curry. Good. Here we have the fried chili flakes and onions. This is from Shan State. I also had this a few times. One of the variations is with small fried bun bread pieces. And this one I'm not sure. Maybe it looks like bamboo shoots. Chili flakes on it. This one also looks like bamboo shoots, but in bigger pieces. I think this is a fresh version of bamboo shoots. Both are pretty good. The other one has a slightly sour pepper note. This one doesn't. Also, I need to correct myself a little bit. This is actually not bamboo, but a plant from under the water. And this thing that you can't find it on Google because this thing is so local. But it does taste a little bit like bamboo though. Yeah, I mean, from the look of it now I can tell it's actually not bamboo. It looks a little similar, but this one is more like, it's not like a bamboo shoot. It's like some kind of stem or maybe something. And the texture and flavor is sort of similar, but I think this one's maybe not as crunchy. It has more of a leek feel. So bamboo shoots plus a little bit leaky texture. That makes sense. In fact, this is also not bamboo. This is mango. I don't know what part it is, but the texture is also a little similar to bamboo shoots to some degree. This looks like tea leaf salad type of thing. Well, yes, tea leaf is such a signature in Burmese cuisine. And this version doesn't use too much of condiments to make a mixture. Some versions has a lot of different stuff. This one I think is actually just mostly tea leaf, a little bit onion, and a little bit chili flakes. So you really get that pure tea leaf flavor coming through for this one. Then here we have our pennywort salad. I just had this yesterday night. This one looks very photogenic. And in fact, all the dishes here together presented look photogenic. Really refreshing, not that sour. Has maybe a bit of acid for seasoning, crispy and crunchy. This is something I haven't tried before. This is called demombue, a tree flower, and with some tomato slices. Tastes a little bit similar to the tea leaf salad. It's more of just leafy flavor, but I think this one is pretty good too. So here in this plate we have 3 items. This is demombue, the tree flower. This is lapetok, tea leaf salad, and this is bamboo shoots. They all look pretty similar though, right? Here we have some yellow beans. I think I had this yesterday as well, but this one's maybe like fried. Oh, this is some, I don't know what type of bean is this, some kind of small yellow peas. This almost tastes exactly like some of the Chinese dishes. Now we have an interesting one. This black blob disc thing is chicken organ. I couldn't tell, maybe this is like a chicken organ patty smashed and pressed into this shape. Let's see what this thing is about. I can sort of pull apart this disc with my fork and spoon. So I'm getting a piece of this undescribable dark blobs. Okay, so it looks like this. It is surprisingly not bad tasting at all. It is actually kind of good. It's almost like a cross between chicken liver mousse and fish cake in terms of the texture. The flavor is a little bit livery, but not like strong. It's kind of like a chicken liver mousse type of flavor, but with a bit more livery note from it. That's quite interesting. I actually kind of like this one, believe it or not. And here we have another thing that looks like tea leaf and fried peanuts with some sesame. Definitely fried peanuts, very crispy. I can feel it just by the sound. Oh, you heard that sound? That's just the sound between the spoon and the peanuts. Really, really crispy. Is that peanuts or is that yellow beans? I think this is still yellow peas, just in a different shape. A little bit chili, a little oily, and also a bit of spiciness in there. You can see this one goes really well with wine. Then here I have this soup with big leafy greens and some gourds. So the cuisine in this region, like Myanmar and some part of Thailand, and now they just use so many herbs, like leaves and stuff. You just don't know the name. The leaf is bitter. This is interesting. I think the philosophy is similar to maybe like you put bitter melon, like bitter gourd in a soup that create that sensation. But this is achieved with the leaf, because in Chinese food philosophy, and I believe in Southeast Asia philosophy as a whole, a moderate amount of bitterness is good for your body, your health. A little bit like warm and detox, and this is doing that. The soup itself is not bitter. The soup is fine. The soup is good. A little more full body than some of the other thing soup. I don't know if this maybe thickened with some kind of like starch, because here I just have the gourd and the leaves, but it has like just a more body to it. It's interesting and it's good. This leafy bitter soup also has this like a flower bulb type of thing in it, and it looks quite similar to the flour that you use in the Thai curry gansong. Okay, maybe not so similar. This is just bitter. The one in gansong is a little sweet and a little bitter at the same time. But okay, yeah, I learned that leaves and flowers seem to be bitter here. Now, finally, this is time to get into our much anticipated Le Bam Bia grilled chicken. Oh, look at this. What is this some kind of like wood stick supporting the chicken so it kind of like opens up? And the color is absolutely beautiful. We have, oh, I think this is a whole chicken pieces. See, like two different parts. All right, so this is the breast part with the wing and stuff, and this is the thigh. So together they form a full body part. Okay, so the way to do it is just to pull apart and eat it. It's really greasy, so this has to be like a hand operations, and I'm just a little bit afraid that if I pull this a little too hard, this oil might splatter on my shirts. But oh, yes. Ooh. Okay, grab a small piece on the rib. Very flavorful. It's a little difficult to pull this apart. I'm not very experienced in this, but oh, okay. Yes, much more challenging than I expected. I think some of the parts looks, I mean, it's not raw, it's fully cooked, but it also almost has a little bit like pink type of quality to it. And here, this is the dipping sauce, Myanmar specialty. Sweet, a little sour, more spicy, but this is much more spicy than the Thai version I have. But pretty much in essence, those sauce taste more or less the same. Is this black chicken? Because the feet looks black. Also the skin. flavor is Yoroshin umami, but I do feel like this one can use a bit more roasting times just to get it a bit more crispy. Don't you think this one looks a little raw? Is that normal?
It is normal.
It's normal, right? It's a little raw inside, right? Oh, okay. Is that safe?
Yes.
Okay. Because the first time the chicken we had at Field Express, it's more fully roasted. This one feels like inside it's almost a little bit like raw, rare. So I don't know if that's normal. It is, right?
They fry the chickens.
Oh, okay.
They're so fresh.
Okay. I mean, this thing is, I think it's almost like a little raw, but if it's this morning fresh chicken, I'm gonna eat it. It's good. I just prefer a little bit more cooked time. I mean, this one looks more cooked. You see, this one looks a little more rare. This is a properly fried one. Let me try this one. I think this is better because it's more cooked. Because chicken has to be fully cooked. So when I see the color, I was like, looks a little rare. I'm full. Okay, I think that's a wrap for the video. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.